Venerable Fang Chen retrieved the brocade pouch and chuckled. It seems I still have a chance to be thoroughly suppressed by Sect Master Fang. The other venerables retrieved their items one after another, and after inquiring about the location of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, they all teleported away in unison. Feng Yuanzong's face was etched with heartache as he muttered in a low voice, "Those treasures. Couldn't they have left a few for our great Yin sect? Aren't we Fang Chen's sect too? How can they treat us so differently?" Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, a secret chamber. A thunderous boom. The sturdy secret chamber shattered into countless fragments with unnervingly clean edges, hurtling backward. 3 divine rays, 1 purple, 1 white, 1 black, swirled around Fang Chen like a rapidly moving colored rainbow. Wherever the rainbow passed, the very space was sliced open, leaving behind a web of fine, void-like fissures. Fang Chen flicked a finger and uttered a low command, "Return." The tri-colored rainbow responded instantly, separating and transforming back into the violet sword, the listening snow sword, and the serrated sword, sheathing themselves in the scabbard on his back. Gazing at the gradually mending spatial fissures before him, Fang Chen's eyes brimmed with exhilaration. He murmured to himself, "Its power far exceeds my expectations. I thought it would only possess the might of a 9-apertured nascent soul strike, enough to be invincible within the nascent soul realm. But the power of this sword array surpasses the nascent soul realm entirely. It's nearly comparable to a spirit transformation strike." He had already discerned the reason. The great derivation sword array originally required superior grade spirit artifacts for its swords. Yet the ones he had procured were all peak grade spirit artifacts. How could the power of the same minor achievement sword array, constructed from superior grade versus peak grade spirit artifacts, possibly be the same? With this sword array, he finally possessed an offensive method capable of threatening a spirit transformation venerable. Of course, this did not mean he could stand as an equal to a spirit transformation venerable. Spirit transformation venerables were not motionless puppets. They possessed speed akin to teleportation. The sword array would find it difficult to match their movement techniques. It could only serve as an unexpected, lethal trump card. Fang Chen let out a long, relieved sigh, his brow lifting with newfound confidence. Venerables are no longer so unattainably high. Regarding the impending descent of the ancient giant, a sliver of confidence finally kindled within him. Furthermore, the third form of the Brahma Saint True Spirit art, the profound earth form, had also reached complete major achievement. The strength of his physical body was now sufficient to be invincible within the nascent soul realm. Fang Chen pondered slightly. "I wonder how my physique compares to that of Zhu Qianzhang, the half, giant with a golden body at its peak, on the verge of stepping into the Dharma idol realm." Both their physiques had reached the pinnacle of the nascent soul realm. One walked the path of ancient giant bloodline heritage, the other a body, tempering method that cultivated both demon and human aspects. If he could encounter this person, it would be the perfect opportunity to test which one was superior. He looked down at himself, covered in a sticky layer of dust mingled with dried sweat. With a thought, Fang Chen employed spatial art, teleporting to the front of a grand hall. This was a secret location within the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion he had created using Alviju's bathing spiritual liquid. Only disciples who had rendered meritorious service were permitted to enter and bathe here to enhance their cultivation. Currently, everyone was in seclusion, so presumably no one was using it. The grand hall was sealed by a formation, indicating it was not open. But this formation could not hinder Fang Chen. His spatial art allowed him to penetrate it. However, the spiritual pool was divided into 2 halves by a formation barrier and a brick wall. Presumably, one half was the male spiritual pool, the other the female spiritual pool. Fang Chen summoned the little Kirin and asked, "Which side is the male spiritual pool?" The little Kirin had been in the sect when the pool was established and should know. The little Kirin pointed to the right without hesitation. "There." Fang Chen eyed it suspiciously, seeking confirmation. "Are you sure? By convention, shouldn't it be male left, female right?" But the little Kirin nodded firmly. "MHM, I've been in there." Then there was no problem. Setting his mind at ease, Fang Chen used his spatial art to pass through the seal and entered the spiritual pool on the right. Inside the pool, a hazy, 9-colored mist of spiritual water swirled. Zia Kog lay comfortably in the pool, only her head visible above the surface. With an expression of pure bliss, she let out a soft, contented sigh, so relaxing to soak after cultivation, though sneaking in like this does violate the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion's rules a bit. As her cultivation had broken through repeatedly, she had gained quite a few new abilities. One such ability was to traverse forbidden barriers, akin to the spatial talent the little Kirin once possessed. She murmured softly to herself, "But this is spirit liquid my martial uncle obtained. If I use it a little, surely no one will blame me." Mentioning her martial uncle, Zia Keoj slowly opened her eyes, her gaze brimming with tenderness. She whispered, "Where is martial uncle now? Why hasn't he returned for so long? Could he have gone to the celestial realm and stayed with that female Asura named Hongxiu? Such a flower, loving man, with so many already at home, yet still coveting those outside. When he returns, I must give him a proper talking to." Splash! Behind her, the sound of water rippled without warning, as if something had fallen into the pool. Zia Keoj was startled, quickly rising to her feet and turning to look. At the sight, she froze in place. In the spirit pool, Fang Chen, clad in black robes, stood in the water, holding the little Kirin. He was also surveying his surroundings. When he turned around, he stood dumbfounded, just like Zia Keoj. Zia Keoj blinked. Was this not an illusion? She was actually seeing her martial uncle in the women's bathing pool. He was clearly still outside and hadn't returned. Even if he had returned, he wouldn't come to the bathing pool, would he? And even if he came to the bathing pool, he would absolutely never enter the women's one. Martial uncle was not that kind of man. Zia Keoj murmured, "It must be an illusion." She rubbed her eyes. But no matter how much she rubbed, Fang Chen remained before her. Moreover, his gaze was moving. From her face it drifted to her snow-white neck, then to her collarbone, and further down to her chest. Zia Keoj's eyes widened in shock. She hastily crouched down, hiding her body within the colored spirit liquid. Only her head remained above the surface. Her lips trembled slightly as she tentatively called out, "Martial uncle." Fang Chen's mind went blank, and he instinctively replied, "Keoj." The two stared at each other. Why? Died. Both confirmed that neither was hallucinating. Zia Keoj's pupils contracted sharply, and she instinctively prepared to scream. Fortunately, she caught herself in time and quickly covered her mouth. If anyone heard and came to discover Fang Chen with her in the spirit pool, not even plunging into the Yellow River could wash away the scandal. Martial uncle and martial niece bathing together. This was too scandalous, no less explosive than Hongxiu's conversation with Fang Chen within the moon realm. Her face flushed crimson in an instant, like a steamed crab. Steam seemed to waft from the top of her head. Her eyes were so filled with shame they seemed about to drip tears, her voice as faint as a mosquito's hum. "Marital uncle, this is the women's spirit pool." Only then did Fang Chen snap back to reality, hurriedly turning his back to her. His aged face flushed deep red. What had he done? He had actually barged into the women's spirit pool and peeped on his martial niece bathing. Heavens! If word got out, he would have no face left to live. At this thought, he grabbed the little Kirin and demanded, "Didn't you say this was the men's spirit pool?" The little Kirin blinked its large, innocent eyes and said, "It is the men's spirit pool. Rebellious Bone, little tiger, and I have all been here. Keoj's sister even brought us." Fang Chen nearly coughed up blood in frustration. "You are little spirit beasts. Of course you can come in. Am I the same?" So the little Kirin thought that since it was male and could come, Fang Chen could too. But what was done was done. It was too late for words. Fang Chen's face burned with embarrassment as he awkwardly said, "Keoj, you heard it. Martial uncle didn't mean to. I'll leave right now." Zia Keoj crouched in the water, her hands protectively covering her chest. Having weathered the initial panic, she had regained a measure of composure. Hearing Fang Chen's apology, she pouted slightly, muttering with a hint of grievance, "It's always an accident." Fang Chen was speechless. He straightened his expression and said seriously, "Don't speak nonsense. There has only ever been this one misunderstanding between us, never before." "How can you say always?" Zia Keoj clenched her delicate fist and gave the water's surface a light tap, sending ripples dancing across it. Pursing her lips, a trace of annoyance flickered across her face, yet her voice remained soft and gentle. "This is not the first time, martial uncle." Fang Chen's expression turned grave. "Keoj, the relationship between us cannot bear such jests." They were martial uncle and niece. Certain boundaries could not be crossed, even if their ages were similar. Zia Keoj bit her rosy lip with her pearly teeth. words rising and falling in her throat, unspoken. Finally, she mustered her courage. Has martial uncle forgotten the person you injured at the heavenly thunder pool of the celestial divination pavilion on the mainland? Upon hearing this, Fang Chen's pupils contracted bit by bit, until they were as thin as needles. He whirled around sharply, staring at Zia Keoj in shock. You were the one who unleashed the yin-yang heaven technique. The color that had just returned to Zia Keoj's face drained away, only to be replaced by a deep flush once more. With a beckoning gesture, a spatial storage artifact from the shore flew into her palm. A thought stirred within her, and a thunder derivation token materialized in her hand. She whispered, I wanted to give this to you last time, but I was afraid you would recognize me, so I didn't dare. Now, well, you've bullied me again anyway. Whether we hide what happened last time or not doesn't matter anymore. She flicked her finger, sending the token flying towards him, then immediately shrank back into the water. Her small face was completely crimson. Fang Chen caught it reflexively, but his mind was in no state to examine its contents. His mind went blank. He stammered, that person who was spying on my cultivation was you. Zia Keoj turned her face away, not daring to meet his gaze, and gave a slight, almost imperceptible nod. Fang Chen looked down at his own right hand. His face immediately burned with shame. He could scarcely believe it. Then the place I injured was your... Overwhelmed with shame, Zia Keoj flailed her small hands, slapping the water's surface frantically. Don't you dare ask? Fang Chen felt the world spin around him. Heavens above! What had he done to Zia Keoj? Had he actually grabbed her there? What mortified him even more was that his treacherous mind readily conjured up the memory of that day's sensation. Slap, slap, slap. Fang Chen hastily slapped his own cheeks, trying to beat away those lecherous thoughts. Damnation! You are her elder. How can your mind be filled with such things? He couldn't stay here any longer. He hurriedly said, Thank you for the thunder derivation token, Keoj. I should go. Zia Keoj's face was flushed crimson. Her voice was as faint as a mosquito's hum. Hem. Blushing furiously, Fang Chen made a hasty retreat. How could he possibly have the face to speak of such a thing? After Fang Chen had left, Zia Keoj covered her face with her hands, overwhelmed by shame. How could such a thing happen? She still felt as if she were trapped in a dream. Recalling Fang Chen's gaze, how it had traveled from her face, down her neck, over her collarbone, and finally settled upon her chest. She was so embarrassed she felt steam might rise from the top of her head. She plunged beneath the water's surface and dared not emerge for a long, long time. Much later, she finally poked half her head above the water, her expression a mixture of shame and awkwardness. Martial uncle actually looked at my chest. He's not just a master of the blossoming path, he's a lecherous master too. Fang Chen, too, had no heart for bathing. He fled the spirit pool, as if escaping a calamity. A look of chagrin was etched on his face as he muttered inwardly, What in the blazes? How could something like this happen? He glanced at the thunder derivation token in his hand, but for the moment, even cultivation held no appeal. Doom? Suddenly, a deafening roar erupted from beyond the gates of the celestial divination pavilion. It was accompanied by towering plumes of thick, roiling smoke that reached for the heavens. The Sex Gate Tower had been blasted to pieces. Fang Chen's brow furrowed, a thought flashing in his mind. Who dares to be so bold to cause trouble at the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion? The colossal commotion finally stirred the members of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion from their secluded cultivation. Fairy Yunsheng, the pavilion master, the enslaved heart demon emperor, and others soared out in unison. Fairy Yunsheng spotted Fang Chen, her eyes brimming with profound joy as she softly called out, Fang Lang. A gentle, snow-robed figure flew into Fang Chen's embrace. Feeling the warmth and softness in his arms, Fang Chen could not restrain his own emotions, holding her tightly as he asked tenderly, Did you miss me? Fairy Yunsheng's eyes, misty with emotion, gazed unblinkingly at Fang Chen, her chin nodding repeatedly as she whispered, Yes, I have missed you every moment. Fang Chen smiled and kissed her forehead. Liu Qingxian also flew over, her eyes alight with delight as she asked, Little Fan, why did you only return now? Fairy Yunsheng tactfully withdrew from the embrace, content to simply hold onto one of Fang Chen's arms. Fang Chen smoothly drew Liu Qingxian into his embrace as well, explaining, I returned long ago, but you were all in seclusion. I dared not disturb you. His tone then shifted, erring to a playful whisper, Come to my room later. Let me check just how far your cultivation has advanced. Liu Qingxian's cheeks flushed slightly as she chided softly, speaking such words in public. Have you learned to be naughty from that Asura woman? She gave Fang Chen's shoulder a gentle, teasing bite, not daring to use any real force, her complaint tinged with a faint, low-valorn resentment. Fang Chen gave a helpless chuckle, offering a serious explanation. She is a 4, crowned Asura king, likely a 5, crowned 1 by now. An existence of that level, what possible connection could she have with me? Between her and me, it is merely a matter of mutual exploitation of each other's value, with not a shred of romantic sentiment involved. This was no mere evasion. It was the true nature of his relationship with Hong Xiu. Both of them were individuals of extreme rationality. Emotions would absolutely never arise between them. Their current harmonious interaction existed solely because they shared the great common enemy, the ancient giants. If a day ever came when they encroached upon each other's fundamental interests, for instance, if her clan invaded the Middle Kingdom, or if the Middle Kingdom attacked her stronghold, Fang Chen and she would, without the slightest hesitation, stand upon the stance of their own races, instantly becoming enemies. He and Lu Zhu might share some fate, but with Hong Xiu there would be none. Liu Qingxian let out a light laugh, saying, I was just teasing you, and you actually explained, are there few women around you? If I were to get jealous, wouldn't I be soaking in a vat of vinegar every day? At this moment, Xia Keoj also hurried over, in disheveled attire, her hair still damp and her cheeks flushed crimson. Her gaze turned toward the dust and smoke at the gate tower, a look of confusion on her face as she asked, what has happened? Fairy Yunsheng observed her unusual state. Then, glancing at Fang Chen, who was also damp and bore a faint, lingering blush on his face. She seemed to have discerned something, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. Her eyes shifted slightly as she inquired, Keoj, aren't you surprised that your martial uncle has returned? Xia Keoj looked at Fang Chen, as if not seeing him at all. This could only indicate one thing. The two had already met, and it had been within the spirit pool, and something had transpired between them. Xia Keoj's heart fluttered with panic as she stammered, I didn't notice. Martial uncle, you've returned. Fang Chen also nodded with a guilty conscience, replying, just returned. Fairy Yunsheng took in their expressions, a knowing smile playing on her lips as she remained silent. She shifted the atmosphere for them, turning her gaze toward the gate tower and asking, who dares to trespass upon our heavenly secrets pavilion? The attention of the group was instantly drawn toward the direction of the gate tower. Amidst a cloud of dust and debris, a figure of a young man, hands clasped behind his back, strode forth with unhurried, measured steps. It was none other than Venerable Chen Jing. Fang Chen frowned. For this former senior brother from the Azure Cloud sect, he held no fondness, asking coldly, what brings you here? Venerable Chen Jing ascended the steps one by one, his expression icy, his gaze sharp and piercing. A stark contrast to his previous demeanor. He reached the top of the stairs, standing before the assembled group. Raising a finger, he pointed directly at Fang Chen from afar, his voice heavy and resolute. Between you and me, only one can exist. Fang Chen found this utterly baffling, frowning as he retorted, save your strength for slaying the ancient giants. He held no grudge against Venerable Chen Jing. The only point of contention was that half of a mine, dopening divine nail, yet it hardly warranted a life for death struggle. Venerable Chen Jing gazed coldly at Fang Chen and stated, you have no choice in the matter. He slowly unleashed the cultivation of his eight-aperture nascent soul. Dust swirled around him and pebbles trembled upon the ground. A suffocating pressure washed over the members of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. Fang Chen's pupils contracted slightly, his heart filled with shock and doubt. An eight-aperture nascent soul. How could this be? The last time Venerable Chen Jing came to the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion to retrieve Venerable Zhenyan, he was only at the 5-aperture nascent soul stage. Now he had astonishingly leapt to the 8-aperture stage. In terms of cultivation speed, he was now on par with Fang Chen himself. Yet Fang Chen had only achieved this after enduring Venerable Lion Jing's trials and receiving the baptism of Venerable Wu Gu's spiritual reign. Could it be that Venerable Chen Jing had also encountered such heaven-defying opportunities? What was the secret behind this man's cultivation? However, an 8-aperture nascent soul did not pose a significant threat in Fang Chen's eyes. Killing him would not be overly difficult. Staring at Venerable Chen Jing, Fang Chen said coolly, leave the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. Do not bring humiliation upon yourself. If any other expert dared to provoke him so openly, they would have been struck down before they could even utter a threat. But this was Venerable Chen Jing. He was Venerable Zhen Yan's disciple, and also the elder brother of Nangong Xiao Yan. Even if he disregarded Venerable Zhen Yan's face, he should still consider Nangong Xiao Yan's feelings, shouldn't he? How could he possibly kill her own brother right in front of her? Venerable Chen Jing said coldly, "Tell me not to bring humiliation upon myself. Fang Chen, are you even worthy of saying such words to me?" Fang Chen grew impatient. He was just about to make a move to expel him when countless auras approached from the direction of the underground palace. A rough count revealed several dozen people. At their forefront were over a dozen youths, each uniformly at the 8th aperture nascent soul stage. They were each accompanied by elders from their respective sects, ready to prevent them from succumbing to madness at any moment. Fang Chen frowned and asked, "What's this? Did you bring reinforcements?" Venerable Chen Jing replied indifferently, "To kill you, what need have I of reinforcements? I merely invited the 18 prodigies of Tai Kang as witnesses. Let them bear witness together that the former Heavenly Pride King of Tai Kang has returned." Heavenly Pride King. Venerable Chen Jing. Fang Chen's face showed confusion. Venerable Chen Jing was already 26 or 27, and not long ago he was merely a 5 aperture nascent soul cultivator. With such talent, could he truly call himself the Heavenly Pride King of Tai Kang? And what did he mean by returned? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One after another, young peerless experts radiating intimidating auras descended. Their ages were generally between 20 and 30. Their number was neither too many nor too few, 16 in total. Excluding the deceased Zhang Keo Sheng, one person was still missing. The first to land was an 8 aperture nascent soul woman from the 10,000 Tribulations Sacred Hall. She appeared to be around 25 or 26, with striking features. Her beautiful eyes, shimmering with brilliant light, fixed on Venerable Chen Jing as she said joyfully, "Brother Chen Jing, you have returned to the 8 aperture nascent soul star. Gee, when I received your message, I thought it must be false." Another youth, slender and wearing a Taoist robe, landed next. He was the contemporary heavenly pride of the Three Purities Mountain. Holding a horsetail whisk, he smiled and said, "Ever since you crippled your own cultivation to reascend to the spirit-severing stage, Tai Kang Great Province has grown desolate. Among us, the 18 prodigies of Tai Kang, some have succumbed to madness, others have entered seclusion, none have walked the mortal world. The martial path of Tai Kang Great Province lost its luster with our departure. Now that you have finally returned, Tai Kang shall grow lively once more." Fang Chen listened, his astonishment growing with each word. If he understood correctly, they meant that Venerable Chen Jing had once crippled his own cultivation. "So, your current realm, you've cultivated it anew. That is truly astonishing." Only Fang Chen himself understood the countless trials and tribulations he had endured, journeying from the Kai condensation stage all the way to his present height. Starting over from scratch, he had absolutely no confidence he could ever reach this level again. Yet, Venerable Chen Jing had once cultivated to the very peak of the nascent soul realm. Did he later sever his own cultivation and start over from the beginning? A monumental question in his heart suddenly unraveled. That was, why would the true word Venerable One take a mediocrity like Chen Jing as a disciple? So it turns out Chen Jing was not mediocre. He had simply started over. Venerable Chen Jing gazed calmly at Fang Chen and stated, surprised, "To be honest, I am too. It turns out I was once a peak nascent soul expert who had brushed against the threshold of the deification realm. However, in my youthful impatience and ambition, wanting to ascend alongside my master, I chose the wrong Tao. This led to me being trapped at the 9 aperture nascent soul stage, unable to awaken for the longest time. Now I have embarked upon a new Tao, one that is most suited to me. Before long, I will awaken and undergo deification, becoming a venerable one who stands above all living beings." Fang Chen was inwardly astonished. He recalled Priestess Ling Yin once saying that for one who has entered the madness contemplation to awaken, there were only 2 outcomes. One was to awaken through deification. The other was to discard the nascent soul, thereby dispelling the madness, but requiring one to start cultivation anew. He never imagined someone in this world would truly walk the second path. Moreover, he had forged an entirely new path to deification. Venerable Chen Jing said indifferently, "I must thank you. It was you who provoked me, allowing me to find this new path." A strange expression crossed Fang Chen's face. What Chen Jing was referring to, surely it couldn't be about him sleeping with the true word Venerable One. Could that asterisk have provoked him? Could this guy possibly have fallen for his own master? He waved a hand dismissively and said, "No need for thanks over such a matter. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. It was no hardship at all." A flicker of malice surfaced in Venerable Chen Jing's eyes as his voice turned gloomy. "There's no need to provoke me. My master has already clarified that it was a misunderstanding. I believe you wouldn't dare lay a finger on her." Fang Chen shrugged and said, "Didn't your master tell you? We met again in the primordial chaos province."
What?
Venerable Chen Jing's gaze sharpened, recalling the image of his master sitting before the spirit pond, lost in thought. Could it be something else happened between master and Fang Chen? Venerable Chen Jing's eyes glinted with cold intent, his voice dripping with icy killing intent. "My master actually didn't kill you." Fang Chen helplessly spread his hands, a teasing tone in his voice. "If she killed me, it would be murdering her own husband." Venerable Chen Jing's eyes blazed with ferocity as he roared, "Silence! Do not insult my master." A playful smile curled at the corner of Fang Chen's mouth as he spoke slowly. "You still don't know. Star Abyss Great Venerable, her father, has already betrothed her to me. We will be wed soon. When the time comes, you, as her disciple, must come and grace the occasion." Venerable Chen Jing staggered, his voice filled with disbelief. "Impossible. Fang Chen, stop spouting nonsense." Fang Chen crossed his arms leisurely. "Call me by my name while you still can. Before long, you'll have to address me as master's husband."
Boom.
Venerable Chen Jing's aura erupted violently. Amidst flying sand and rolling stones, the Tai Kang 18 were all forced back. One of them glared furiously at Fang Chen and shouted, "Where did this wild brat come from, spouting such arrogant drivel here?" Another chimed in, daring to speak to our elder brother, Chen Jing, like that. A third sneered, "It's been years since we walked the outside world. Have the youngsters of later generations forgotten the fearsome reputation of us, the Tai Kang 18? Fang Chen swept his gaze over the group, his expression indifferent before coming here. "Didn't any of you bother to find out who I am?" The expressions of the elders behind the Tai Kang 18 changed simultaneously. Several elders immediately began whispering urgent warnings to their juniors. One said urgently, "Cease your disrespect. Do not offend Sect Master Fang." Another advised, "You can watch the spectacle, but do not lightly involve yourself." A third shook his head, "You've been in seclusion too long. If you knew certain things, you would never have uttered those words." Hearing this, the Tai Kang 18 grew even more puzzled. They all scrutinized Fang Chen, their eyes filled with bewilderment. The Crown Prince of the Western Sea walked over, hands clasped behind his back. His face was bruised and swollen, yet he wore a proud expression. "Ha! What a joke! You don't even know my sworn father." He strode to Fang Chen's side, puffing out his chest with pride. Voice suddenly rising, "Standing before you now is the first man from the 9 provinces to explore the celestial realm. He is the Grandian sect master personally bestowed by the Sage of Heavenly Eyes, the closest confidant of the 6 great demon venerables of the Great Desolate Province, and the most revered human envoy of the Asura race. He is my sworn father, Fang Chen." The entire hall fell deathly silent. The 18 disciples of Tai Kang were all stunned, their jaws agape. Elder Chen Jing spoke indifferently, merely achievements gained through schemes and trickery. Were I in your position, I could do the same. The Western Sea Prince glanced at him sidelong. "Then why don't you step up and prove it? No one is stopping you from proving yourself." Elder Chen Jing raised his palm, fingers clenched tight. "The petty tricks of ghosts and goblins are beneath my contempt. I, Chen Jing, believe only in true strength." His clenched fist pointed accusingly towards Fang Chen from afar. Voice suddenly ringing with metallic resolve. "In any era, there is only one true king. Since I have returned, you should take your final bow." Elder Chen Jing spread open his palm. A shimmering golden talisman character danced upon his palm, coalescing into 8 grand characters. "Connect heaven, summon the sage, enter and rule the immortal palace." The 8 characters flew from his palm, swelling in size as they met the wind. In moments, each character bore down with the weight of a mountain peak. The 8 characters soared together, pressing down like the majestic, crushing might of the heavens themselves. The Heavenly Secrets Pavilion master's expression shifted slightly, the 6 seals of the immortal legacy. Beneath the shadow of the 8 characters, the members of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion felt their bodies grow light. Their souls uncontrollably began to detach from their bodies, drawn towards the 8 character seal. Fang Chen let out a clear, resonant shout. Imbued with soul power between heaven and earth resides the upright Kai, manifold and flowing through all forms. The sonorous, righteous voice anchored the souls of the crowd, halting their departure from their flesh. The Heavenly Secrets Pavilion Master urgently commanded everyone, fall back. Elder Chen Jing frowned slightly. You are actually unharmed. Fang Chen narrowed his eyes, a truly overbearing grade high level technique. He decisively took action, both hands simultaneously forming seals. He intoned solemnly, Divine Lord of the boundless vastness. Behind him, a ten-zhanged, eight-armed divine statue instantly materialized. Clad in golden armor, the statue's 8 arms struck out in unison, unleashing shaking golden radiance. The golden radiance surged skyward, shattering the descending 8-character seal. The seal exploded apart, scattering into motley, shimmering light. The 18 disciples of Tai Kang wore expressions of utter shock. Elder Chen Jing was also slightly taken aback. Such formidable body, refining arts, no wonder you dare challenge me. 8 more talisman characters erupted from his palms, shooting up into the canopy of the sky. He chanted the incantation clearly. Divine rainbow descends from heaven, looks back upon the mortal world. The sky suddenly blossomed with a riot of colors. Beams of multicolored rainbow light descended from the heavens like lances, shooting straight towards Fang Chen. Wherever the rainbow beams passed, space itself chafed, producing long trails of sparks. Fang Chen, unhurried, chanted in succession, the primordial beginning of all things. The world stands alone with me. Before him appeared a statue of a human emperor, crowned with a 9-tasseled imperial headdress. Above his head manifested an ancient, vast, and solemn yellow bell. As the bell tolled, a region of the cosmos froze in place. The rainbows shooting across the sky became still, as if captured in a painting. The human emperor statue raised its imperial sword and swept it across the firmament. 1,000 Jiang long sword radiance severed the long sky, cutting every rainbow beam asunder. Shimmering motes of 5-colored light rained down upon the mortal world. Elder Chen Jing's expression changed again as he performed another seal. Stars and moon pay homage. 10,000 palaces rise and fall. The 8-character seal incantation vanished into the horizon. Instantly, golden clouds gathered densely in the high heavens. The faint, illusory forms of immortal palaces, hidden within the cloud layers, plummeted like meteors, crashing madly towards Fang Chen. Each immortal palace carried with it a majestic, awe-inspiring might. Even before they struck, they caused the long sky to rumble and the great earth to tremble. Several elders swallowed hard. This single strike possesses the power of a 9-aperture nascent soul. Fang Chen raised his head, gazing intently at the world, ending scene before him, the will to battle rising in his eyes. Shouting clearly, well met. The 3 great divine elephants surged forth together, following Fang Chen as he charged against the heavens into the lofty sky. Bell tolls shook the air, fist radiance surged like waves, and sword brilliance crisscrossed the firmament. One after another, the phantom images of immortal palaces were cleaved asunder, swath after swath of golden clouds were scattered. Countless arcs of dazzling light cascaded in all directions, painting the heavens in a riot of brilliant colors. The crowd watched this awe-inspiring spectacle with upturned faces. From afar, it seemed as if a mere mortal was waging a lone war against the vast heavens, shattering the myriad celestial towers and jade pavilions. A moment later, the golden clouds in the sky had completely dispersed. 3 of the 6 seals from the immortal legacy of Chen Jing were shattered in succession. Chen Jing's face showed shock. This is impossible. Burning with unwillingness, he once again formed hand seals and unleashed the 4th seal. Fang Chen looked down upon him and, without a word, dove straight down. At that very moment, venerable Chen Jing's talisman seal coalesced and shot towards the sky. Fang Chen uttered a light cry, annihilate. The divine elephant, the human emperor elephant, and the profound earth elephant, the 3 elephants converge. A beam of golden light, carrying Fang Chen, descended from the heavens. The oncoming talisman seal shattered on the spot. Fang Chen's momentum did not diminish. He continued straight on, wreathed in golden light, and blasted towards Chen Jing. Chen Jing was both shocked and furious. How dare you? No one can stand before my 6 immortal legacy seals. With a furious roar, he activated the final 2 seals in quick succession, launching them together. Fang Chen transformed into a streak of golden light, and in the blink of an eye, he stood upon the 2 layers of talisman seals. A sound like tearing cloth rang out. The talisman seals were smashed to pieces on the spot. The golden light met no further resistance and blasted into Chen Jing's body. Boom! The immense impact force blasted a crater 100 zhang in diameter into the earth. Chen Jing, spitting blood, collapsed within the depression. Fang Chen planted a foot upon his chest. Speaking calmly, and this is called a king, you'd best return to Moonwash Lake and continue your cultivation. This was especially difficult for the 18 princes of Tai Kang to accept. As their former paragon, their once king, Chen Jing had been effortlessly crushed by a mere upstart. Could it be that the era of the 18 princes of Tai Kang had truly passed? Just as Fang Chen withdrew his foot and turned to leave, Chen Jing, lying on the ground, was filled with humiliation in his eyes. He had lost even his own proud strength to Fang Chen. How could he accept this? The immense disgrace violently assaulted him, causing a fierce spirit of defiance to gradually surge within his gaze. He could not admit defeat. An invisible ripple emanated from his body, radiating outward. It was unmistakably his madness defiance. Fang Chen, caught completely off guard, was instantly invaded by this madness. He, who should have stood as the victor, was suddenly overwhelmed by shame, feeling he had no face to show anyone. This was the effect of defiance. It reversed his mentality from that of a victor to that of a defeated loser. And while he was thus ensnared by madness, Chen Jing, his heart brimming with unwillingness and murderous intent, viciously formed his 5 fingers into a claw and thrust towards Fang Chen's back. Nan Gong Zai, Yun let out a sharp, shrieking cry. Brother, stop. On one side was her own flesh and blood elder brother, on the other was the ever-kind Fang Chen. She wished for neither of them to perish. However, Chen Jing had already descended into madness. Moreover, his madness was of a rebellious nature. The more others tried to stop him, the more determined he became to act. Thus, not only did he ignore Nan Gong Zai, Yun's pleas, his attacks grew even more ruthless. The expressions of the various elders shifted in unison as they moved to intervene. But Chen Jing's assault was far too sudden, catching everyone off guard. It was already too late to prevent it. Many let out cries of alarm, as if already witnessing the despairing scene of Fang Chen's chest being torn open by a claw. Just as he was about to touch the back of Fang Chen's heart, suddenly a flash of violet light severed Chen Jing's palm. Immediately after, Fang Chen turned around with an icy gaze, his violet sword in hand, and slashed towards Chen Jing's neck. The arriving Tai Kang 18 prodigies shouted in unison, "Halt!" How could they stand by and watch Chen Jing die before their very eyes? A cold glint flickered in Fang Chen's eyes. He had never intended to kill Chen Jing, but a lesson was unavoidable. If not for the pain from his nascent soul injury, jolting him awake from the madness, he might have already fallen victim. The sword aimed at his neck changed course, striking Chen Jing's forehead with the flat of the blade instead. A metallic clang rang out. Chen Jing's eyes rolled back instantly as he collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Fang Chen tapped his toe, kicking the prone form towards the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion Master and the others behind him, his voice frigid. Lock him up. Notify the true word Venerable to come and redeem him? Chen Jing had nearly taken his life. This debt would undoubtedly be settled by the true word Venerable. The Tai Kang 18 prodigies would not stand for it. Especially the female prodigy who revered the true word Venerable, her gaze sharp as she shouted, "Release him at once." Fang Chen shot her a sidelong glance and uttered a low incantation, soul, startling thorn. Without even a whimper of pain, the female prodigy fainted on the spot. Fang Chen stepped forward and delivered a kick that sent her tumbling across the ground. Another prodigy roared, eyes blazing with fury, "Sister Lion, Fang Chen, how dare you crush a flower with such merciless hands? I'll fight you to the death." Fang Chen looked towards the remaining Tai Kang 18 prodigies and said calmly, "Come at me together." Fury blazed in their eyes. Such audacity. One man dares to challenge all of us, the Tai Kang 18 prodigies. Not even a 9. Aperture nascent soul cultivator would dare be so brazen. Attack together, let's grant his wish. Chen Jing's defeat had already dealt a heavy blow to their pride. Now Fang Chen's provocation was like pouring oil onto the flames. Caring not for the dishonor of ganging up on a single opponent, they charged forward as one. Fang Chen took a deep breath. He too wanted to know if, without resorting to lethal techniques, he could handle a group of 8 aperture nascent soul cultivators with ease. He uttered a low chant, Hellfire Lotus. The Tai Kang 18 prodigies were no weaklings, each cultivating supremely advanced techniques. Yet every move Fang Chen executed was drawn from the pinnacle of Tai Kang continent's martial arts. The outcome was not difficult to foresee. A moment later, dust swirled, and the ground was littered with the groaning forms of the Tai Kang 18 prodigies. As for Fang Chen, his breathing remained steady. Apart from expending a significant amount of nascent soul power, he bore not a single wound. With his strength alone, he had subdued the Tai Kang 18 prodigies. The elders from various sects watched on, their faces filled with envy. Each generation of Fang Mountain produces its own talents. Years ago, it was the era of the Tai Kang 18 prodigies. Now, this era belongs solely to Fang Chen. The faces of the 18 talents of taking were filled with unwillingness. They were at the 8th aperture nascent soul stage, while Fang Chen had only reached the 7th. Yet, in the end, it was their combined forces that suffered a crushing defeat. We still have hope. If we are the first to ascend to the deity transformation realm, he will be nothing. Exactly, the difference between deity transformation and nascent soul is like heaven and earth. Given the gap in our cultivation, we will achieve deity transformation first. When that time comes, I will look down upon him and crush him. They were in the midst of encouraging each other. Suddenly, demonic energy began to converge in the sky. 6 demonic venerables, each with a black divine halo behind their heads, descended together, their auras carrying the oppressive weight of world-ending might. Venerable Wu Yu and Venerable Fang Chen, leading 4 other demonic venerables, stepped forward in unison, cupping their hands in greeting. Venerable Wu Yu declared in a clear voice, "Fellow Taoist Fang, it has been a while." Fang Chen was taken aback for a moment before remembering. He had once asked these 6 demonic venerables to look after his sect in the Taking province. A smile touched his eyes as he returned the gesture. "Welcome, all 6 fellow Taoists, to the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion." The 18 talents of Taikang all widened their eyes in unison, their gazes filled with utter shock. What were they hearing? 6 venerables, including 2 at the 2nd Heavenly Withering stage, were addressing Fang Chen as fellow Taoist and treating him as an equal. One of the female prodigies shrank her neck back, whispering timidly, I think I'll pass on the whole looking down part. I'll leave that opportunity to the rest of you." Venerable Fang Chen swept her gaze across the chaotic surroundings with a sidelong glance, striking a coquettish pose. "Young Master Fang, why bully a bunch of juniors? Where's the fun in that? You'd be better off bullying me instead." The faces of the 18 talents of Taking were etched with complex emotions. So, in the eyes of these demonic venerables, Fang Chen was already someone they considered their peer. Fang Chen and they, the 18 talents of Taking, were simply not on the same level of existence. One was still mingling in the circles of the younger generation. The other had long since been rubbing shoulders with venerables. And to think they had dared to challenge him. The fact that Fang Chen was even willing to acknowledge them was a courtesy in itself. Fang Chen remarked casually, "A bit of sparring is good for them." Meanwhile, Venerable Wu Yu was surveying the surroundings, a hint of confusion in his expression, and this is the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. The other demonic venerables also wore looks of curiosity. It didn't make sense. Fang Chen was the concurrent master of the Great Yin sect, yet he was only a deputy pavilion master here. By all logic, the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion should be a colossal entity far surpassing the Great Yin sect. Yet what they saw was a small, utterly unremarkable sect. A voice tinged with gloom pierced through the sky. "Fang Chen, come out and face me, old man." The 6 demonic venerables frowned slightly, subtly shifting to shield Fang Chen behind them. From the tone, the newcomer did not seem friendly. They could not afford to let Fang Chen be killed, after all. He still held the reins of their control. The next moment, an aged figure materialized in the air above. It was Venerable Zinni. His face was dark with anger as he came to demand answers from Fang Chen. But the moment he arrived, his aged eyes narrowed, a flicker of surprise and doubt flashing within them. He demanded in a heavy voice, "And who might you be?" Why were there 6 demonic venerables from the Great Barren Province here? And among them, 2 were at the 2nd Heavenly Withering stage. Venerable Wu Yu swept a glance over him, noting he was merely at the 1st Heavenly Withering stage, and his expression turned cold. "Venerable Wu Yu of the Demon Abyss, and you are..." Upon hearing this, Venerable Zinni was secretly startled. The Demon Abyss, the number 1 sect of the Great Barren Province. He quickly descended, the gloom on his face melting away into amiable warmth. "This humble one is Zinni of the Young Emperor Mountain. Greetings to all 6 fellow Taoists." In theory, he should have addressed Venerable Wu Yu and Venerable Fang Chen as seniors. It was only the prestige of his Young Emperor Mountain identity that allowed him to interact with them as an equal. However, one should still show proper courtesy and respect. The young Emperor Mountain. The complexions of Venerable Wu Yu and the others shifted. There was no one who did not know what the young Emperor Mountain was. Venerable Wu Yu did not dare to be presumptuous either. He said, "So it is fellow Taoist Xin Nai. Could there be some misunderstanding between you and fellow Taoist Fang?" Venerable Xin Nai gazed at Fang Chen, who was being protected at the center by 6 demonic path venerables, and was secretly astonished. 6 demonic path venerables, actually treating Fang Chen as an equal. With a look of surprise, he said, "I am Fang Chen's master." Why? Fang Chen is a member of the young Emperor Mountain. Venerable Wu Yu suddenly understood. No wonder the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, which seemed ordinary and unremarkable, could stand above the great Yin sect. So it was backed by the young Emperor Mountain. That explains everything. Fang Chen truly is one who hides his depths well. Venerable Xin Nai was also curious. What business brings you all to the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion? Venerable Wu Yu smiled and said, "We have found a kindred spirit in fellow Taoist Fang. Before the great calamity arrives, we came to see his sect." He immediately took out 3 formation discs. "Fellow Taoist Fang, a small token of our regard, hardly worthy of your esteem." Venerable Mortal Dust also produced the illusory tones of Mortal Dust. The remaining 4 venerables each brought out their own heavy treasures in turn. Fang Chen was so delighted he couldn't close his mouth. As expected of venerables, their hands were far too generous. Each and every item was a peerless heavy treasure capable of protecting the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion through the great calamity. Fang Chen said, "My thanks to the 6 fellow Taoists." Venerable Wu Yu inwardly breathed a sigh of relief. The task of voluntarily looking after the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion was considered complete. He cupped his hands and said, "We hope the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion can survive this tribulation. We must also return to make our final preparations for the great battle." A thought stirred in Fang Chen's heart. He said, "Venerable Wu Yu, please wait a moment. I recall you once mentioned that the soul-refining venerable of your sect betrayed you and also instigated the defection of a female venerable. Is this true?" Having finally found an adversary of the demoness, how could Fang Chen let the opportunity slip away? A sharp gleam flashed in Venerable Wu Yu's eyes. "Do you have news of those 2? Fang Chen said, "The soul-refining venerable is already dead, but that female venerable still lives, and she is right here in our great Taikang province." "What?" Killing intent surged in Venerable Wu Yu's eyes. "That wretched woman stole the replica demon eye from our demonic abyss. I was just worried about not being able to find her." Immediately, he said to Venerable Mortal Dust, "You all return first. I have some matters to attend to here in Great Taikang Province." Venerable Mortal Dust and the others also dared not linger in Great Taikang Province, and they all took their leave. Venerable Wu Yu asked, "Fellow Taoist Fang, do you have any information on her?" A flicker passed through Fang Chen's gaze. "She once left a wisp of demonic Kai upon my person. A compassionate senior named Venerable Evil Crow, unable to bear the thought of her finding me, transferred that demonic Kai onto himself." Venerable Wu Yu understood, finding that Venerable Evil Crow might yield clues. After inquiring about the location of Venerable Evil Crow, Venerable Wu Yu bid farewell and departed. Fang Chen silently hoped the other party would be able to find the demoness. A soft, crisp sound. A withered, aged hand came to rest on his shoulder. Fang Chen's heart tightened. It was Venerable Xin Nai. That sharp, murderous aura from a moment ago, Fang Chen knew perfectly well it was undoubtedly about the matter of Wang Chungxiao. He had not mobilized the forces of the Great Yin Sect or the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion to search for Wang Chungxiao, which had clearly angered this venerable. Fang Chen, without changing expression, pressed down on the jade box within his sleeve, ready at any moment to release the swirling demonic liquid within. However, Venerable Xin Nai did not grow angry. Instead, he clicked his tongue in admiration as he looked Fang Chen over and said, "Good disciple, you have truly made this master see you in a new light. To actually be able to interact as peers with a group of demonic path venerables is truly inconceivable. Even the true disciples of those heaven, man 2 decay and 3 decay powerhouses at the young Emperor Mountain, none have the capability you do." A look of pride flickered in his eyes. The young Emperor Mountain was never short of powerful experts. Many were existences he viewed as lofty and unattainable. But none of their disciples could compare to Fang Chen. Braving the heavenly realm, confronting the 5-star giant king, befriending 6 demonic path venerables, which disciple could accomplish such feats? And Fang Chen was precisely his nominal disciple. If I bring him back to the young Emperor Mountain, it will surely make those old fogies green with envy." Fang Chen humbly cupped his hands and said, "It is all due to my master's excellent guidance." Seeing him so humble, Sinful Venerable was even more delighted. His eyes glinted as he solemnly declared, "To make you a nominal disciple would be a true injustice. From this day forth, you shall be my true disciple. If I can return alive to the young Emperor Mountain, I will spare no effort in nurturing you, aiding you in achieving spirit transformation." A true disciple. Not a shred of joy stirred in Fang Chen's heart. Instead, a heavier weight settled upon him. Sinful Venerable possessed a violent temperament. The deeper the deception he suffered, the more ferocious his wrath would be when the truth came to light. When that time came, he would likely not only kill Fang Chen, but in his rage would also implicate the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, slaughtering every last soul. Seeing his silence, Sinful Venerable's voice lowered slightly. "What, still clinging to the thought of having another master? It is because I cherish your talent that I accept you as my true disciple. Think carefully." Fang Chen's heart quaked. He had no choice but to cup his hands and reply, "Disciple Fang Chen pays his respects to master." Only then did a smile appear on Sinful Venerable's face. He nodded. "Good disciple, you are my first true disciple. This master will never treat you unfairly. Come, follow me first to find Wang Qingxiao and complete the young emperor's task." He paused, his aged eyebrows lifting slightly as he gazed at Fang Chen. "Speaking of which, this master has long had a question for you. I heard that while you were in the celestial realm, you consistently acted under the name of Wang Qingxiao. Is this true?" Fang Chen's heart hammered wildly. Were it not for his exceptional willpower, he would have given himself away on the spot. Seeing his hesitation, a flicker of suspicion crossed Sinful Venerable's ancient eyes. He pressed, "Well, do you have some unspeakable difficulty?" Having failed to locate Wang Qingxiao for so long, his frustration had reached a peak, making him acutely sensitive to anyone connected to the man. Forcing calm, Fang Chen's mind raced. He cupped his hands and answered, reporting to master. This disciple was concerned that Wang Qingxiao might have infiltrated the celestial realm to hide. Therefore I borrowed his name to make enemies of the ancient giants there, rendering him unable to find refuge in that realm. Sinful Venerable looked at him with profound meaning. This excuse was utterly flimsy. Had it been anyone else, he would have already erased them with a single palm strike. But remembering how he had wrongly accused Fang Chen before, and considering that Fang Chen was now his true disciple, he ultimately suppressed his killing intent. He merely gave a slight nod. "You have a thoughtful mind. Now, come with me to find Wang Qingxiao. This master has been waiting for you to mobilize the great Yin sect." Fang Chen cupped his hands in assent, but added, however, "I beg master to grant this disciple half a day to attend to some sect affairs." Sinful Venerable frowned, barely containing his displeasure, and waved a hand. "Go." In his eyes, the trivial matters of a mere Heavenly Secrets Pavilion were not worth mentioning compared to the search for Wang Qingxiao. He leaped into the air, soaring into the clouds to wait. A chill ran through Fang Chen's heart. He had a premonition that the long game of cat and mouse between himself and Sinful Venerable was nearing its end. A clash of arms was inevitable. Yet who would live and who would die remained impossible to predict. He held 10 wish papers, the Misty Devil's Liquid, a Spirit Transformation Corpse Puppet, and the newly forged Great Evolution Sword Array. But his opponent was, after all, a venerable from the young Emperor Mountain. Who could say that he did not have hidden trump cards of his own? Suppressing the unease in his heart, Fang Chen summoned everyone to the main hall. He handed over all the precious treasures gifted by Wu, Yu, and the 4 demonic path venerables to the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion Master, keeping only one item for himself, the mortal Dust Phantom Tone bestowed by the mortal Dust Venerable. This artifact could induce hallucinations in a venerable. If a battle with Sinful Venerable ensued, it might prove useful. Fang Chen glanced around and asked in surprise, "Has Senior Icefire not returned yet?" The Heavenly Secrets Pavilion Master shook his head. There has been no word since he went to pursue and kill Soul Refining Venerable. Fang Chen's face showed puzzlement. That day, he, Lianjing Venerable, and Icefire Demon Lord had fallen into the primordial Chaos Prefecture together. He, a mere nascent soul cultivator, had emerged unscathed. Could a mighty venerable like Icefire Demon Lord have actually met with misfortune? Perhaps he was simply delayed by something. He shook his head, deciding not to dwell on it further. Why should a nascent soul cultivator like him worry about a venerable? Fang Chen then checked everyone's cultivation levels and was delighted to find that in just half a month, All of them had advanced by one minor realm. Even Fairy Yunsheng had broken through to the peak of the 5 aperture nascent soul stage. It showed just how abundant the resources of the heavenly mountain battlefield were. Seeing Yunsheng working so diligently, Fang Chen, as her husband, naturally felt he should offer his full support to help her break through the bottleneck to the 6 aperture nascent soul stage. He put on a stern face and said gravely, "Yunsheng, are you aware of the matters concerning Huang Quan and the Lord of the Starry Palace?" Fairy Yunsheng was bewildered by this sudden seriousness and answered cautiously, "I only learned of them now." Fang Chen gave a light snort. "Such serious matters, and you only know now. You have sorely disappointed this husband's trust. Come with me to the private chamber. I must give you a thorough critique." Hearing the first 2 sentences, Yunsheng's heart grew anxious. This was the first time Fang Chen had shown anger towards her. Upon hearing the last sentence, she immediately understood. A faint blush colored her snowy cheeks. She lightly bit her vermilion lips and obediently followed Fang Chen away. It took a long moment for the crowd in the hall to slowly come back to their senses. Liu Qingxian's face flushed red as she lightly spat out, "Pa, if you want to be affectionate, just say so. Why sing such a winding, circuitous tune?" Half a day later, inside the secret chamber, Fairy Yunsheng gently massaged Fang Chen's dark circles, cooing in a soft voice, "My Lord Fang, weren't you going to teach me a lesson? Why have you stopped moving?" Fang Chen wearily pushed himself up, sighing, "Your heavenly fox bloodline is too domineering. I must quit you." Fairy Yunsheng covered her mouth with a light laugh. "My Lord Fang could also go and drain the cultivation of other women." Fang Chen was taken aback. "What do you mean?" Fairy Yunsheng's 5 fingers lightly traced a path across Fang Chen's abdomen. 9 faint, pale shadows emerged from within his body, taking the shape of 9 fox tails. Fang Chen exclaimed in shock, "What is this?" Fairy Yunsheng's voice softened. "This is a branch vein of the heavenly fox bloodline. After my bloodline advanced last time, I awakened a new ability. I can transplant a portion of the heavenly fox bloodline into you, my Lord Fang." Fang Chen sat bolt upright. "I have the heavenly fox bloodline now too." Fairy Yunsheng wrapped her arms around his waist, looking up at him with a smile. "Is that not good? In the future, if you encounter a woman of profound cultivation, you can also absorb her cultivation through dual cultivation. However, what you possess is but a single wisp of a branch vein. Our realms are not far apart. If I were to absorb from you, it could help me break through one realm. But for you to advance a single layer, you would need your partner to be a full major realm above you." Her eyes shimmered as she continued, "For example, that 4 crowned Asura King beauty you know in the celestial realm. If you were to absorb her, you could directly shatter the 8 aperture nascent soul stage right now. As for an existence like the true word venerable, dual cultivating with her 10 times would yield a similar effect." Fang Chen was so shocked he was rendered speechless. After a long pause, he finally asked, "What is the true purpose of this ability of the heavenly fox bloodline?" Fairy Yunsheng held nothing back. "Naturally, it is useful. If I were to dual cultivate with 10 men, those 10 could then go and drain the cultivation of other women. Once their cultivation rises, and they dual cultivate with me again, I too would benefit." Upon hearing this, Fang Chen raised his hand and lightly swatted her pert bottom, feigning anger. "You wouldn't dare." Fairy Yunsheng's delicate frame trembled, but she nestled even more dependently into his embrace, her voice a soft murmur. "My body and my heart belong to you, my Lord Fang, and you alone, for this lifetime, and I will only ever drain from you." A wave of warmth surged in Fang Chen's heart. He flipped over, pinning her beneath him, and chuckled lowly. "Then let me give you one more to drain." 1 hour later, Fang Chen stumbled out of the secret chamber and soared into the clouds. Venerable Heart Sin narrowed his eyes, gazing towards the direction of the secret chamber, and slowly intoned, "It's that demon beast with the heavenly fox bloodline, isn't it? Her bloodline is far denser than it was on the ancient path of ascension. It seems her consciousness has awakened. The only one of her kind in the 9 provinces. A truly rare treasure." Fang Chen's eyes turned icy. "This old bastard Stilkov, it's Yunsheng's heavenly fox bloodline, wants to offer it to the young emperor." Sensing his gaze, Venerable Heart Sin let out a light chuckle. "Worry not. Although this master is ruthless to outsiders, I never let my own disciples suffer a loss. Since that fox demon is your woman, this master will no longer set my sights on her. Come, we go first to the great Yin sect, then to the market near the White Horse Temple." Fang Chen secretly breathed a sigh of relief. For a fleeting moment just then, he had almost been ready to tear off all pretense and fight this old thing to the death, right then and there. Suppressing his emotions, he asked, "Master, What business do we have at the White Horse Temple Market? Venerable Heart Sin's eyes narrowed further, his voice turning grave. Wang Chengxiao was fished away by a hook that day. This master suspects his accomplice was also present at the scene. Find that person, and perhaps we can force the truth of Wang Chengxiao's whereabouts from them. Fang Chen's heart skipped a beat. The scene that day, surely no traces were left behind. Suppressing his unease, he silently followed Venerable Heart Sin as they departed. The two of them first arrived at the Great Yin sect. Upon learning of Fang Chen's arrival, Feng Yuanzong pushed past the crowd, rushing to the forefront to greet him. Fang Chen surveyed the recently maintained mountain, protecting formation, and the numerous devices arrayed to resist the ancient giants. He couldn't help but feel a pang of shame. Although he was the sect master of the Great Yin sect, he had always been a hands-off figurehead. He never expected the Great Yin sect to have managed itself so orderly on its own. Fang Chen rubbed his nose, saying somewhat sheepishly, "It seems the Great Yin sect can operate just fine without me." Feng Yuanzong bent at the waist, hastening to say, "Sect Master Fang, you must not say such a thing. Without your sagely illumination, how could we have cleansed our hearts and reformed our ways, focusing wholeheartedly on resisting the ancient giants? It is your far-sighted vision and grand strategy that have brought such perfect order to the Great Yin sect." Not only did Fang Chen stare at him with a look of utter unfamiliarity. Even the other members of the Great Yin sect were wide-eyed, exchanging bewildered glances. Low murmurs rippled through the crowd. Is that really our junior brother Feng? If I recall correctly, junior brother Feng was the one who cursed those who recognized Fang Chen as sect master until their heads were covered in blood. How has he himself turned into such a bootlicker? Is it so hard to understand? If you had 6 friends who were demonic path venerables, junior brother Feng would treat you like his own father. Fang Chen was stunned for a moment before finally waving his hand. There's no need for such formalities, you people of the Great Yin sect. If you cannot hold back the ancient giants, evacuate to our heavenly secrets pavilion. In the end, the celestial vision sage had entrusted the Great Yin sect to him. If the Great Yin sect truly faced calamity, he could not simply stand by and watch. Feng Yuanzong was overjoyed. With this promise, the Great Yin sect had gained an additional path of retreat. The Heavenly Secrets Pavilion now possessed a defensive formation capable of withstanding a strike from a venerable, along with several heavy treasures gifted by other venerables. It was undoubtedly far safer than the Great Yin sect. Feng Yuanzong bowed deeply. "Many thanks, Sect Master Fang." Fang Chen gave a slight nod. "I now issue a command. Apart from those disciples necessary for battle preparations, all others are to disperse and search for Wang Chengxiao." Wang Chengxiao. Feng Yuanzong was puzzled. Venerable Heart Sin had already come to the Great Yin sect, searching for him several times. Was he truly that important? Nevertheless, such a simple command was one he was naturally willing to carry out. Feng Yuanzong cupped his hands and replied, "As you command, Sect Master." A flicker of light passed through Fang Chen's eyes as he added, "Remember to visit each of the 3 divine sects, the 7 great teachings, and all major and minor sects. Inform them solemnly that this is the person Venerable Heart Sin seeks. Whoever dares to harbor him privately shall bear the consequences. Furthermore, if he is found, deliver him immediately to the White Horse Temple Market." Inwardly, Fang Chen murmured to himself, "My dear wife Lu Zhu, I have even told you Venerable Heart Sin's location. You must hurry and come rescue your husband." Having issued his orders, Fang Chen soared into the clouds and vanished. Venerable Heart Sin was quite satisfied with Fang Chen's performance. He chuckled hoarsely. "This master appreciates a disciple who exerts himself. Take this." He produced a spirit pill wreathed in crackling lightning, emanating a formidable spiritual pressure. Fang Chen's pupils contracted slightly in surprise. A 6th-grade spirit pill. He wasn't even certain he could currently refine a pill of this level. In principle, it required one's soul to have reached the venerable level. Venerable Heart Sin revealed an appreciative look. "Your discernment is sharp. This is the 6th-grade spirit pill from Young Emperor Mountain, the Heaven Sundering Pearl. It possesses breakthrough efficacy for experts at the late nascent soul stage. This pearl was originally intended for a disciple of mine with an 8-aperture nascent soul to aid his breakthrough to 9 apertures. Since you are my true disciple, I shall grant it to you first." Fang Chen accepted the spirit pill. "Thank you, Master." Venerable Heart Sin truly was as he described himself, though ruthless, even to the point of being utterly cruel. He was not ungenerous to his own people. Venerable Heart Sin stirred the clouds, heading towards the White Horse Temple, and suddenly asked, "Have you found your own Tao?" Fang Chen shook his head, answering candidly, "Not yet." Venerable Heart Sin stroked his beard. "Have you seen a shooting star?" He intended to enlighten Fang Chen. Fang Chen hesitated for a moment, then sat cross-legged and replied, "I have." Venerable Heart Sin asked, "Was it beautiful?" Fang Chen nodded, describing it. A moment of dazzling splendor, its brilliance utterly spent. Venerable Heart Sin gave a slight nod, his voice low and distant. "The Tao of spirit transformation is the trajectory of a shooting star sublimated to its absolute limit. To burn oneself, to exhaust one's life, transforming into a radiant brilliance that plummets towards the vast earth. Without madness, one cannot become a demon." Fang Chen felt as if thunder had struck his ears, shaking his very soul. This was the first time anyone had explained the Tao of spirit transformation to him in such a manner. It also aligned perfectly with his own understanding of madness. So-called madness is the result of pursuing something to its absolute extreme. Just as Shu Buxu's obsession was theft and Song Lingyu's was melancholy. He pondered for a moment before asking, then, "How do I find my own Tao?" The heart-questioning crystal had offered him many Taos, yet deep within, he felt no obsessive pursuit for any of them. Without obsession, how could one go mad for it? He believed the vast majority of aperture, nascent souls remained trapped in their madness, unable to awaken, precisely because they had carelessly chosen their Tao. If the madness is not deep enough, how can one achieve ultimate sublimation? Venerable Heart Sin said slowly, "Look back upon the path you have traveled. Your Tao lies within it." Look back upon the path traveled. Fang Chen closed his eyes, sinking into deep contemplation. His path had been far too long, far too arduous. Unwilling to be trapped in solitary boat city, he entered the Azure Cloud sect. Not long after, he encountered the demon race's invasion of the 9 sects. After repelling the demons, he faced his lifelong nemesis, the Demon Emperor. After slaying the Demon Emperor, he then encountered the ancient calamity of the giant titans, a struggle that has persisted until this very day. Countless were the perils and life or death crises he faced along the way, too numerous to recount. For a moment, Fang Chen himself could not comprehend the true nature of the obsession that had driven him this far. The Heart Sin Venerable glanced back at Fang Chen, who was lost in deep contemplation. He offered guidance, saying, "The mortal realm is resplendent with its myriad splendors, a dazzling chaos that can bewitch the heart. Reflect upon your original intent. Therein, perhaps, lies your answer." With those words, he spoke no more. As a master, this was all he could do. Whether Fang Chen could ultimately comprehend his own Tao depended solely on the young man himself. Time flowed onward, and the scene shifted to the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. Upon learning that the Dust Mirror Sage had stormed the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, the True Words Venerable immediately rushed to the scene. The Pavilion Master stepped forward to report, "Venerable One, the Dust Mirror Sage is here." He ordered his subordinates to carry the Dust Mirror Sage out. Gazing upon the Dust Mirror Sage's severed wrist and the multitude of wounds covering his body, a flicker of heartache passed through the True Words Venerable's eyes. She did not blame Fang Chen. She had heard the details of the battle between the Dust Mirror Sage and Fang Chen. Fang Chen had shown mercy at every turn, while the Dust Mirror Sage had unleashed nothing but lethal strikes, nearly killing Fang Chen in the end by surrendering to a frenzied madness. Her voice low and somber, the True Words Venerable asked, "Fang Chen said I must redeem him." The Pavilion Master replied, "Yes." The True Words Venerable nodded woodenly. In one swift motion, she seized the Dust Mirror Sage and declared with finality, "Very well, for my sake, and for the Dust Mirrors. The enmity between Fang Chen and myself must be settled. I shall see him one last time. All past grievances shall be wiped clean, and henceforth we shall be as strangers." With a powerful leap, she soared into the sky, clutching the Dust Mirror Sage, and sped like a shooting star toward the direction of the White Horse Temple. Meanwhile, with Fang Chen. After their relentless journey, the Heart Sin Venerable and Fang Chen finally arrived at the market town near the White Horse Temple. They proceeded directly to the very alley where Wang Chengxi had been rescued. Fang Chen's heart tightened with anxiety. He ventured a question, "Master, after so much time has passed, can clues still be found?" The Heart Sin Venerable stated with certainty, "They have always been findable. However, the required price was too great, and I was reluctant to pay it before. Now I have no choice but to make the sacrifice." From his sleeve, he produced a sheet of paper that was all too familiar to Fang Chen. A wish paper from the primordial chaos province. Holding the crimson wish paper between two fingers, the Heart Sin Venerable asked, "Do you know what this is?" Fang Chen answered without hesitation, "A wish paper." A look of appreciation flashed in the Heart Sin Venerable's eyes. "Your knowledge is commendable." Fang Chen cautiously probed. "This disciple has just returned from the primordial chaos province and has seen one before. Master, do you intend to wish for Wang Chengxiao's location?" If the target was merely Wang Chengxiao, then he had nothing to fear. In fact, it would be a great boon, for it would lead the Heart Sin Venerable straight to the heavenly realm. Once the Venerable arrived, he would simply move the heaven, connecting Black Pillar, trapping him there for eternity. What he truly feared was that the Heart Sin Venerable's wish would not be to find Wang Chengxiao, but rather, as fate would have it, his fears materialized. The Heart Sin Venerable shook his head, his voice raspy. "I have heard that the sinister Crow Venerable of the Great Yin sect possesses a secret art called stars shifting, fate turning. It allows one to transfer one's own power into another body." Fang Chen's pupils contracted violently. The Heart Sin Venerable even knew about stars shifting, fate turning. This was the core, most secret truth that Fang Chen had used to frame Wang Chengxiao, just as he had foreseen. The longer the Heart Sin Venerable remained within the Great Taikang province, the more he could pierce through the veils of mist and close in on the hidden Fang Chen. Now, only a single, thin membrane separated him from the truth. Suppressing the frantic beating of his heart, Fang Chen replied with feigned calm, "This disciple is unaware." The Heart Sin Venerable, suspecting nothing, analyzed, "It is normal you wouldn't know. This is the sinister Crow Venerable's secret, non-inheritable technique. None outside the Great Yin sect may obtain it, and that Wang Chengxiao is a disciple of the Great Yin sect. It is possible he has cultivated this art. Therefore, the origin of his void, flow lightning energy is questionable. Perhaps he cultivated it himself, or perhaps it was transferred to him by another." Fang Chen's heart leapt into his throat. The Heart Sin Venerable was infinitely close to the truth. A thought flashed in his mind. He guided the conversation, saying, "Master need only use the wish paper to locate Wang Chengxiao. Once you capture him and interrogate him, the truth will be revealed." He only wished that the Sin Karma Venerable would hurry to the celestial realm. Then everything could finally come to an end. However, the Sin Karma Venerable tilted his head and looked over, exclaiming in surprise, "You usually seem quite clever, so why are you so muddle-headed at this critical moment?" Have you not yet grasped this master's meaning? A practitioner of the Void Flow Thunder Force is not necessarily Wang Chengxiao. To wish for him specifically would be like carving a mark on a moving boat to find a lost sword. Utterly futile. He waved the wish paper, his gaze sharpening as he declared with unyielding resolve, "This master need only wish to find the Void Flow Thunder Force. Whether it belongs to Wang Chengxiao or one of his accomplices matters not. Whoever bears the Void Flow Thunder Force is the one I seek." With those words spoken, he raised the wish paper, preparing to activate it. Fang Chen's heart sank to the deepest abyss. The scenario he feared most had arrived. The Sin Karma Venerable had pierced through all veils of deception, striking directly at the core, the Void Flow Thunder Force. He had no path of retreat left. Prepare for battle. At that very moment, the Sin Karma Venerable suddenly halted his movements, his aged eyes gazing into the distance. Fang Chen followed his gaze and could not help but feel a slight shock. He saw a beauty in a flowing yellow gown, with an oval face and breathtaking features, carrying a man with a severed wrist, speeding toward them. The fierce wind whipped around her, pressing the gown against her slender, graceful form, outlining her exquisite curves. The newcomer was none other than the Truth Speaker Venerable. The Sin Karma Venerable raised an eyebrow and asked, "What brings you here?" The Truth Speaker Venerable glanced at him and replied calmly, "I'm not here for you." Her gaze shifted, landing on Fang Chen, before she descended and alighted before him. Fang Chen warily edged closer to the Sin Karma Venerable and said, "What do you want now? I warn you, I am now the Sin Karma Venerable's true disciple. Try to lay a hand on me again." He found the Truth Speaker Venerable utterly vexing. This petty-minded woman always seemed intent on violence whenever they met. Surprisingly, the Truth Speaker Venerable was unusually calm this time, as serene and graceful as when they first met. She spoke, "Let us talk. Sin Karma Venerable, grant me the time of a single cup of tea, if you would." The Sin Karma Venerable pondered briefly and said, "If it is merely conversation, that is acceptable, but do not harm him. This old master has only this one true disciple, and I will not allow others to injure him." The truth speaker venerable nodded. I will not, it is only a talk. She turned to Fang Chen. Fang Chen, come with me. Fang Chen hesitated for a moment, his mind filled with doubt, but he still followed the truth speaker venerable to a spot not far away. The truth speaker venerable waved her wide sleeve, and a powerful isolation barrier manifested around them, rendering their conversation invisible and inaudible to the outside world. Fang Chen eyed her sideways and asked, What do you wish to discuss? Without a word, the truth speaker venerable produced a heavenly thunderstone. Flickers of crimson lightning arcs danced across its surface. The boundless blood calamity lightning within Fang Chen's body resonated, uncontrollably surging to the surface of his skin. He gasped in astonishment. Boundless blood calamity lightning. The truth speaker venerable actually possesses such a thing. This lightning's power was several times greater than ordinary tribulation lightning. Back then, even with the support of heaven, piercing marrow, Fang Chen had nearly perished beneath it. A sudden realization struck Fang Chen. Wait, I always wondered why my spatial teleportations kept landing me near you. Once in the treasure vault, once falling from the sky, each time I happened to teleport right beside you. So it was because you carry the boundless blood calamity, causing the spatial movement to automatically lock onto you. The truth speaker venerable's expression remained placid as she tossed the heavenly thunderstone to Fang Chen. Fang Chen hurriedly caught it, somewhat incredulous. You're giving this to me. The truth speaker venerable said, Did you not demand that I redeem the hostage? The boundless blood calamity lightning within this heavenly thunderstone should suffice, should it not? Fang Chen swept his senses through the stone and could not suppress a surge of joy. The amount of boundless blood calamity within was even greater than what he had faced during his tribulation. It was more than enough for him to cultivate the final chapter of the 6 heavenly thunder scriptures, Yin-Yang Heaven, to perfection. He nodded happily. It's enough, more than enough. You look quite agreeable when you're being reasonable. Today, the sun must have risen from the west, for the truth speaker venerable not only refrained from causing trouble, but generously bestowed this lightning power. The truth speaker venerable inclined her head. Furthermore, let us wipe the slate clean of all past entanglements between us. Whether it was you saving me, the violation I suffered at your hands, or the marriage contract my father arranged without consent, let it all vanish like smoke, agreed. Fang Chen was taken aback. From her words, it seemed she wished to sever all grudges and cease all contact. He pondered briefly and said, I have no objections. Saving you when you fell from the celestial realm was also because you gave me the life. Preserving Lotus. One action begets another. It is the cycle of karma. As for tarnishing your reputation and spreading rumors throughout the primordial chaos continent, making it difficult for you to find a suitable partner, if you can release these grievances, I would only be glad. How could I refuse? This was the first time the truth speaker venerable had spoken to Fang Chen with such calm composure. Suddenly, she felt he was not so detestable after all. She gave a slight nod, gesturing to the dust mirror in her hand. My entanglement with you has severely affected his Tao heart. Thus, I wish to end all disputes with you, to grant him a tranquil space for cultivation, so he may achieve spirit transformation sooner. Fang Chen glanced at Chen Jing. This fellow, though not much of a person, had certainly lucked out with a devoted master. He asked, So, what is the truth speaker venerable's intention? The truth speaker venerable gazed at Fang Chen and stated calmly, From now on, let us be as strangers. Is that acceptable? Fang Chen felt a pang of melancholy. The truth speaker venerable was the first spirit transformation venerable he had encountered, the one who had saved him from the hands of the evil crow venerable. He had once felt deep gratitude and genuine respect for her. Now, for the sake of her disciple, she wished to become strangers. For a moment, he found himself unable to voice his agreement. Seeing Fang Chen's silent demeanor, the truth speaker venerable could not help but recall the memories they had shared. When I first met Fang Chen, he was but a young boy being bullied by the evil crow venerable. When we met again, I was the one he picked up and brought back to the heavenly secrets pavilion. Afterward, I witnessed with my own eyes his journey to becoming a legend. Alone, he ventured deep into the heart of the celestial realm, slew the spatial giant king, and outmaneuvered the 5 star giant king. On the battlefield of Heavenly Mountain, before the very eyes of the giant emperor, he fought to the death to eradicate the human traitors. Finally, he re-entered the celestial realm, resolutely staying behind to save Star Abyss Great Venerable, gambling for a sliver of heavenly opportunity against peerless foes like He 5 Star Giant King and the Immaculate Great Venerable. His strength might not be first-rate, but the radiance of his humanity, like a blazing, glorious sun, made one dare not look directly at him. Even she felt ashamed in comparison. If her disciple were Fang Chen and not Chen Jing, she would surely be happy every day. For in all the world there is no master who would not be proud of such a disciple. Alas, Chen Jing was her disciple. Moreover, for Chen Jing's sake, she had to sever all ties with Fang Chen. At this moment, she too felt some reluctance. Recalling Fang Chen's various offenses against her, those scenes that once filled her with shame and fury, she now found herself unable to summon even a trace of anger. Instead, a wistful sense of impending loss stirred within her. She felt a pang of regret. Perhaps such a drastic severance was unnecessary. Merely meeting less frequently might have sufficed. She opened her mouth, intending to change her mind, and said, "How about?" But Fang Chen agreed. He said, "Very well, let us be strangers henceforth. I regret causing trouble for you, Senior, and your disciple. Thank you, Senior, for protecting me before the evil crow Venerable when I was weak. This kindness I shall remember in my heart, never to forget. After today, we shall be as strangers." It felt as if a piece had been carved out of True Word Venerable's heart. There was a sense of loss and a touch of pain. But the words were already spoken, and spilt water cannot be gathered back. Just as True Word Venerable was grieving, Fang Chen's tone shifted, inexplicably reviving her heart. Fang Chen said, however, "Before we become strangers, I must ask one more favor of you, Senior." True Word Venerable nodded repeatedly. "Speak." Fang Chen looked towards the Heart Sin Venerable outside, and without concealment asked, "Heart Sin Venerable is searching for a practitioner of the Void Flow Lightning technique. Are you aware of this, Senior?" True Word Venerable's expression turned peculiar. "I have heard, and the target is named Wang Chengxiao. In his search, Heart Sin Venerable has recently wrought much slaughter." She was somewhat puzzled. Didn't Fang Chen say Wang Chengxi? It was a fabricated name. Then, who was this Wang Chengxi? Oh, that Heart Sin Venerable was seeking, drenching the land in blood to find. Until Fang Chen stated calmly, "That person is me." True Word Venerable was startled. "What, you are the one Heart Sin Venerable has been hunting for over half a year. But how did you become his true disciple then?" Fang Chen said helplessly, "A confluence of coincidences. Precisely because I am his true disciple, upon learning the truth, he will feel all the more betrayed and seek mad vengeance. Therefore, I wish to ask for your help, Senior." It took True Word Venerable a long while to accept that Fang Chen was the practitioner of the Void Flow Lightning technique who had stirred such storms. Regaining her composure, she glanced warily at Heart Sin Venerable and said, "I would find it very difficult to kill him. Heart Sin Venerable hails from the Young Emperor Mountain. His strength is certainly not weak." Fang Chen said, "This junior would not dare make such an excessive request. I merely hope that when Heart Sin Venerable discovers I am the Void Flow Lightning practitioner and seeks to kill me, you might speak a few words on my behalf." True Word Venerable shook her head. "He will not listen. To kill you, he has drenched the Tai Kang Great Province in rivers of blood. I have heard of sects exterminated, leaving not a chicken or dog alive. His resolve to kill you is iron-clad. He will not abandon it just because I plead." Fang Chen raised a hand, interrupting her. "You misunderstand, Senior. I do not ask for his mercy. I ask only that he allow me to finish one task first. After it is done, he may kill me without delay." Moved, True Word Venerable asked, "You wish to see the people of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion one last time to settle your affairs?" Fang Chen shook his head. "Having faced death countless times, they are already prepared for my demise. There is no need for me to settle affairs. I wish..." He looked towards the northwest of White Horse Temple and continued, "I wish, before I die, to first bring down the Asura tribes from above. In 4 or 5 days, the great hunt of the celestial realm's ancient giants will begin. Those Asura in the mountain villages will face their century's darkest hour. I made a promise with them. Those willing to come to the central lands, I would move the heaven, connecting black pillars to bring them down. Their mid to late nascent soul stage, Asura, will be a great aid to our Tai Kang Great Province in resisting the ancient giants. So, I must first accomplish this final task for Tai Kang, then I will settle life and death with Heart Sin Venerable. If I die then, at least I will have one less regret." True Word Venerable was stunned. The waves crashing in her heart took a long time to subside. With death looming, what Fang Chen held in his heart was the safety of Tai Kang Great Province. Previously, when Fang Chen stayed resolutely in the celestial realm to save Star Abyss Great Venerable, the impact of that spirit, viewed through a projection, could not be fully felt, lacking the immediacy of being there. Now, facing Fang Chen directly, feeling up close his concern for all living beings under heaven and earth, her heart was struck with immense force. She began to understand why Compassion Mirror Venerable, despite the great danger, had turned back and nearly perished. It was because she had been moved by Fang Chen. Fang Chen asked, "So, can you help, Senior? Just a word of persuasion. If he agrees, all the better. If not, you may leave. This is my final request before we become strangers." Fang Chen narrowed his eyes. "Senior, why are your eyes brimming with tears?" True Word Venerable's eyes shimmered, her voice low. "I understand now. No wonder you agreed to become strangers, because there is no afterward. This is his request before death." "Very well, I agree." Fang Chen clasped his hands and bowed solemnly. "Thank you, Senior, for granting this." True Word Venerable smiled bitterly. "Thus, my heart is at peace." Fang Chen turned, his gaze resolute. "Please dispel the barrier. I have hidden from Heart Sin Venerable for over half a year. It is time for an end." As the barrier silently dissolved, Fang Chen returned to Heart Sin Venerable's side. Heart Sin Venerable glanced at the distant not yet departed True Word Venerable and said indifferently, "Does my disciple require his master to back him up?" Fang Chen replied calmly, "Thank you, master, but I am fine. Please activate the wish paper to seek the void flow lightning technique." Heart Sin Venerable gave a slight nod. "Very well." He raised the ancient looking wish paper in his hand, but his movement suddenly halted. He noticed the spatial storage ring on his index finger. Heart Sin Venerable slowly removed the ring and offered it to Fang Chen. Fang Chen was taken aback, wary. "Master, what is the meaning of this?" He had already secretly gathered his strength, preparing to strike first and seize the initiative. Yet at this critical juncture, his master unexpectedly handed over his own storage ring. The sinful Venerable One's gaze turned profound as he countered. "Have you never considered why I brought you here?" Fang Chen was slightly taken aback. Only then did he realize with a jolt, since his master possessed a wish paper and already had a suspect, why would he bring along a burden like himself? He lowered his head and said, "This disciple does not understand master's profound intent." The sinful Venerable One spoke hoarsely, his voice tinged with desolation. "My lifespan is nearly spent. After making the wish, my vitality will drastically diminish. I may even perish on the spot. This is also why I have been reluctant to use the wish paper." "The price is too great." He forcibly shoved the ring into Fang Chen's hand. "If your master survives after making the wish, return this ring." "If I fall?" The sinful Venerable One grinned, a touch of carefree resignation in his expression. "Then consider it your lucky day, kid. The incantation is engraved on the back of the ring. Memorize it, then erase it. Don't let anyone else seize it." Fang Chen stood stunned. So his master had kept him by his side to deliver his final words, lest a lifetime of learning be lost without a successor. For a moment clutching the cool, faintly cold ring, he was unsure whether he should draw his sword. His heart a tumult of complex emotions, Fang Chen asked in a low voice, "Master, must the one who cultivates the void flow lightning force die? Why must you stake your own life to find him?" A rare flicker of warmth passed through the sinful Venerable One's eyes. Fang Chen was the first disciple to ever show concern for his life and death. He patted Fang Chen's shoulder and sighed. "Your good intentions are noted. Master appreciates them. But this is the young Emperor's command. I have less than 5 days left. If I fail to kill him, the young Emperor will kill me. In this vast lake, one's body is not one's own." The sinful Venerable One's expression turned solemn. "Enough. Everything will proceed as ordered." He raised the wish paper, his demeanor suddenly turning icy and sinister, gnashing his teeth as he said, "You little beast, forcing this old man to expend his vitality to find you. Once I do, I will raise your 9 generations to the ground and slaughter your entire clan to vent my hatred." With that, he blew a breath of his origin Kai onto the wish paper. Let the paper ash fall upon the void flow lightning force. In an instant, the sinful, Venerable One's vitality drained away like a floodgate had opened. His already aged body rapidly withered, wrinkles piling upon his face, his eyes turning murky yellow, and great clumps of hair falling out. His frame unconsciously hunched over drastically. Even a venerable's body must pay a grievous price for using the wish paper. Fang Chen stared at him intently. If his master perished here, it would all be over. If he succeeded, it would be the moment for master and disciple to part ways and cross blades. Under Fang Chen's tense gaze, the wish paper finally ignited, and the sinful Venerable One still lived. Though his aura was feeble, his vitality nearly spent. He had endured. The wish had succeeded. The sinful Venerable One grinned, watching as the paper in his hand burned to ash. These ashes would fly towards the cultivator of the void flow lightning force and, as the wish commanded, settle upon them. He merely needed to follow the ashes to find his target and complete this mission that had spanned over half a year. The paper ash completely transformed into drifting motes, swirling overhead as they sought the direction of the void flow lightning force. Suddenly, the ashes abruptly halted. It had found it. The sinful venerable one sneered coldly, "Little beast, the game is over." Fang Chen's heart gave a violent lurch. It was indeed over. The battle between him and his master had arrived. However, just as the ashes were about to surge towards Fang Chen, from the White Horse Temple not far away, Buddhist chants suddenly resounded, suffusing the air with golden light. A voice, slow and magnetic, grand and solemn, gradually spread forth. "There is a thing before heaven and earth, formless and inherently tranquil. It can be the master of all phenomena, unchanging through the 4 seasons' decay." It was unmistakably the Dharma voice of a bodhisattva. This Buddhist chant was like celestial music, calming the mind and making one forget both favor and disgrace. All past events were like fleeting clouds. Greed, anger, obsession, and hatred flowed away like water to the east. The soul became ethereal and thoughtless, forgetting all. Not only did Fang Chen stand dazed and entranced, but even the venerable Xin nigh fell into its grasp. After several breaths, he abruptly broke free, exclaiming in shock, "Tianting, what are you doing?" His fear was not unwarranted. In a contest between venerables, a single thought could determine victory or defeat. He had been entranced for so long. If the bodhisattva had harbored ill intent, he would have perished long ago. The bodhisattva's voice drifted over, growing fainter and more distant. "All desires bring suffering, no desires bring joy. Benefactor Xin Nai, do not force anything in all matters." The final word was as faint as a mosquito's hum. Venerable Xin Nai frowned. Why did he suddenly appear? Not good, the ashes. He looked up. Where were the ashes now? They had long since vanished, having flown away during his trance. Tianting, Venerable Xin Nai was furious. The wish he had paid for with over half his vitality had been ruined by a single Buddhist verse from Bodhisattva Tianting. Angry as he was, he dared not seek trouble with the Bodhisattva. A single Buddhist chant from the other had nearly taken him away. Where had the ashes gone? Shouldn't they have landed on Fang Chen? But during his trance, he had no idea what had happened. Chen Jing shook his head, looking bewildered. "Master, what just happened?" Just as they were about to locate their target, the Bodhisattva had suddenly appeared. Venerable Zhenyan ignored him, instead casting a relieved glance toward Fang Chen. Since Fang Chen was safe, she had no reason to stay any longer. Venerable Zhenyan said softly, "Fang Chen, I will take my leave now." Fang Chen cupped his hands. "I bid you farewell, senior." Venerable Zhenyan nodded and soared into the sky. Venerable Xin Nai hastily called out, "Fellow Taoist Zhenyan, did you see where the ashes went?" Venerable Zhenyan shook her head. "No." She turned to Chen Jing and said calmly, "Chen Jing, let's go." Chen Jing shot Fang Chen a fierce glare, then reluctantly followed his master away. Venerable Zhenyan flew high into the sky. From time to time, she looked back at Fang Chen on the ground, a faint trace of loss gradually clouding her eyes. From this day forward, she and Fang Chen would be like strangers. All that had passed was now over. Seeing this, Chen Jing felt discontent. "Master, is Fang Chen that important to you?" Venerable Zhenyan replied without hesitation, "He carries some weight." Chen Jing clenched his fists. Fang Chen had only been in Tai Keng Great Province for a short time, yet he had unknowingly secured a place in his master's heart. Gritting his teeth, he asked, "Between me and Fang Chen, whom do you prefer?" Venerable Zhenyan said calmly, "Do not compare yourself to him." Chen Jing persisted stubbornly, "I want to know, otherwise I cannot cultivate with peace of mind." The Venerable Truth Beaker fell silent for a moment, then candidly stated, "Of course, it's him." Boom! Chen Jing felt as if he had been struck by a thunderbolt from the heavens. The master actually favored Fang Chen more. Could it be simply because Fang Chen had once made physical contact with the master? "This isn't fair." The Venerable Truth Speaker then added, "But you are more important because you are my disciple." The flames of jealousy in Chen Jing's heart subsided slightly, and a comfortable smile spread across his face. No matter how outstanding you are, Fang Chen, can you ever compare to this true disciple of the Master? His eyes glinted as he pressed the advantage, saying, Master, I dislike Fang Chen. From now on, could you sever all ties with him? The Venerable Truth. Beaker cast a cold, indifferent gaze toward him. Though she had already intended to do so, Chen Jing's proactive demand stirred a sense of repulsion within her. Chen Jing snorted, Master, you once vowed to help me break through to the divine transformation realm. Now my state of mind is being hindered by Fang Chen. If you do not sever ties with him, my ascension will be impeded. You will suffer damage to your domain for breaking your oath. This was already a threat. An indescribable wave of revulsion surged within the Venerable Truth, Beaker's heart. The Chen Jing who had emerged from the path of defiance was a completely different person from before. She replied indifferently, Very well, I agree. Chen Jing secretly exulted with wild joy. The Venerable Truth, Beaker's word, was her bond. If she said she would sever ties, then it would be done without fail. Fang Chen, the Venerable Truth, Beaker is mine alone. You can forget about her for the rest of your life. But at that very moment, Chen Jing suddenly caught a faint whiff of a decaying, putrid scent. Following it to its source, his body trembled violently as he stammered, Master, your divine halo. The Venerable Truth. Beaker's expression remained calm as she said lightly, It is decaying, is it not? I did not expect the heavenly decay to descend so swiftly. Chen Jing was frantic with worry. When was your domain breached? Was it my question just now that forced you to lie? No. You had no reason to deceive me. I am not worthy of your lies. Was it the Venerable Heart, Sin? Did you lie to him? But he only asked you one casual question. He was so agitated, his words became incoherent. Once the heavenly decay descends, it will cause rapid putrefaction, just like what happened to the Venerable Evil, Crow. At most 1 year remains. Without a breakthrough, death is inevitable. The Master had finally agreed to sever ties with Fang Chen, yet now she was on the brink of perishing. Why was this happening? The Master had merely told the Venerable Heart, Sin, that she did not see where the ashes went. What reason was there to lie about that? Wait. A sudden realization struck Chen Jing. The Master did see where the ashes went. The Bodhisattva's divine chant had not dazed the Master, who possessed the domain of truth. She had witnessed the entire event, knowing the ashes' destination. But why would she conceal it? Even if the Master did not wish for that person to die, there was no need to lie, because merely revealing the direction would still make it difficult for the Venerable Heart, Sin, to locate him, unless that person was within sight. Storytellers aside, the Master had no choice but to lie for him, and at that time, only 4 individuals were present: the Venerable Heart, Sin, the Venerable Truth, Beaker, Chen Jing himself, and Fang Chen. It was Fang Chen. He was the one who had cultivated the void, flow thunder force, the person the Venerable Heart, Sin, had been searching for over half a year. And the Master, for his sake, had lied without hesitation, casually trading her own life to secure a path of survival for Fang Chen. The Master kept saying that Chen Jing was more important than Fang Chen, but tell me, if I were the one facing death, would the Master exchange her life for mine? Hard to say. Yet she had already done so for Fang Chen. Chen Jing roared inwardly, the Master deceived me. In her heart, Fang Chen is the more important one. The Venerable Truth. Beaker turned her head to look at him and asked, What is it you wish to say? Suppressing his fury, Chen Jing feigned ignorance, his face etched with concern as he said, Master, what should we do now? If you cannot withstand the heavenly decay tribulation, won't you? The Venerable Truth. Beaker shook her head and replied calmly, It no longer matters. Focus on your cultivation. I hope you can successfully ascend to the divine transformation realm before the arrival of the ancient giants. Storytellers aside, she and Chen Jing arrived at the White Horse Temple, intending to use the teleportation formation there to return directly to the moon, Washing Lake. As soon as they reached the temple gates, Abbot Pu Guang approached, hands pressed together in greeting. Abbot Pu Guang said, Venerable One, the Bodhisattva requests your presence. The Venerable Truth. Beaker's gaze shifted slightly as she asked, Has the Bodhisattva learned something? She gave a light nod and instructed Chen Jing, wait for me within the temple. Do not leave. This master will return shortly. Storyteller's narration, the Venerable Zhenyan followed Abbot Pu Guang to the rear courtyard of White Horse Temple. Chen Jing's eyes flashed as he watched the Venerable Zhenyan's figure vanish, then quietly withdrew from the temple. Chen Jing's heart turned icy as he thought, Master, don't blame me. You forced my hand. Storyteller's narration. Meanwhile, at the market district, the Venerable Xin Nai was despondent, his face ashen as he gazed at the heavens. The Venerable Xin Nai rasped, "Such is karma. I, your master, have slain too many, provoking the wrath of heaven and the resentment of mortals. That is why the Bodhisattva intervened at the most critical moment, severing my path to survival. Every sip and every peck, it is all fate." Fang Chen secretly shook his head. Storyteller's narration. The Bodhisattva may not have acted solely to scheme against the Venerable Xin Nai. It was highly possible he was protecting Fang Chen. As the Bodhisattva of heavenly hearing, no sound in the world could escape his ears. Fang Chen had once conspired to frame Wang Qingxiu and had just conversed with the Venerable Zhen Yan. The Bodhisattva had likely heard it all, already knowing Fang Chen was a practitioner of the void flow lightning force. Thus, he intervened. His aim was to ensure Fang Chen survived, so he could be guided toward enlightenment. However, the Venerable Xin Nai, in his search for Fang Chen, had slaughtered countless people. He deserved death. Fang Chen felt not a shred of sympathy. Fang Chen tentatively asked, "Master, what are your plans now?" The Venerable Xin Nai rasped, "To await death. In 5 days, the young emperor will project his avatar here to kill me. When that time comes, it will be a dead end." Storyteller's narration. This was for the best. With the Venerable Xin Nai dead, he would be free. He could cultivate the void flow 5 forces without restraint, no longer living in constant fear. The Venerable Xin Nai looked at Fang Chen and said, "Do you have any troubles? With the little time I have left, this master will help you one last time." Fang Chen took out the Venerable Xin Nai's storage ring and returned it, saying, "This disciple has no troubles. I will simply proceed step by step to receive the Asura clan." "Master, you should focus on finding a way to save yourself." The Venerable Xin Nai hesitated for a moment before accepting the ring. "Escape, under heaven, who can escape the young emperor's grasp? If he wishes to kill someone, hiding to the ends of the earth is useless." Fang Chen felt a chill and asked, "Is the young emperor that formidable?" A look of reverence flashed in the Venerable Xin Nai's eyes. "He has reached the 5 decays of the heavenly man realm, and already possesses half a body's worth of merit. He is considered half. Step to great sagehood." Storyteller's narration. Hiss. Fang Chen felt a slight tingle on his scalp. It sounded even more terrifying than the great Venerable Xing Yuan. Fang Chen probed further. "Master, it was the young emperor who ordered you to hunt down practitioners of the void flow lightning force, wasn't it? Why does he care so much about it?" Storyteller's narration. Fang Chen couldn't understand. He had only dabbled in the void flow lightning force. How could he possibly threaten that young emperor? Even if he mastered it completely, it would be utterly insufficient to harm a half-step great sage, wouldn't it? Knowing his death was near, the Venerable Xin Nai held nothing back and slowly explained, "Once one reaches the 5 decays of the heavenly man realm, all actions and schemes revolve around one thing." Storyteller's narration. Fang Chen knew what it was, merit. The Venerable Xin Nai said, "That is merit." And the 5 elements divine lord of ancient times was also a great venerable who had reached the 5 decays of the heavenly man realm and survived the great battle of the ancient giants 1,000 years ago. He possessed unimaginably vast merit. However, his merit was unique, fused into the minor world he created with the void flow 5 forces. Once his merit is released, it will disperse to all those across the 9 provinces who cultivate the void flow 5 forces. The young emperor cultivates the void flow lightning force. He would receive 20% of the merit. But if others also cultivate it, they would take a share. Moreover, if someone's void flow lightning force surpasses the young emperor's, they could even seize more merit. Storyteller's narration. So the legacy of the 5 elements divine lord also concealed a distribution of merit. Back when he was just a lowly core formation cultivator, he had unknowingly been dragged into a struggle for merit among great venerables at the 5 decays of the heavenly man real LM. That he had survived until now was truly no small feat. Fang Chen sighed. "So that's why. No wonder the young emperor wants to hunt this person down." The Venerable Xin Nai said with hatred, "Though I did not personally slay that little beast, the young emperor will finish him personally. I will wait in the underworld to see what 3-headed, sick, sarmed monster he truly is." Storyteller's narration. As the two conversed, a figure swiftly approached. He landed before the Venerable Xin Nai and bowed deeply. Chen Jing said calmly, "This junior, Chen Jing, has important matters to report to you, senior." The Venerable Xin Nai glanced at him, recognizing him as a disciple of the Venerable Zhen Yan, and replied indifferently, "If you have something to say, have your master come speak with me." Storyteller's narration. If he entertained every junior who approached, this venerable would be sorely lacking in status. Chen Jing remained neither subservient nor arrogant. Senior, it is a matter of great importance. The Venerable Xin Nai paused. Speak. Chen Jing glanced sidelong at Fang Chen and said impassively, This junior wishes to report to you alone. Storyteller's narration. The Venerable Xin Nai caught the subtle glance toward Fang Chen, and his eyes flickered slightly. After a brief contemplation, he waved a hand, enveloping himself and Chen Jing in a pitch, blacking, like Kai flow, while excluding Fang Chen. The Venerable Xin Nai's expression turned cold and hostile. You had better truly have something important to report. Chen Jing, composed and steady, said, Senior, what this junior wishes to reveal is the true identity of the Void Flow Lightning Force practitioner. Storyteller's narration hum. The Venerable Xin Nai, who had already given up hope, suddenly had a sharp glint flash in his aged eyes. The Venerable Xin Nai asked excitedly, You know who it is? Chen Jing replied, Yes, this junior can guarantee with his head that there is no mistake. Overjoyed, the Venerable Xin Nai urged, Speak quickly, who is it? Storyteller's narration. How much suffering had this person caused him? He was even about to be killed by the young emperor. He wished he could skin this person alive, strip their tendons, and torture them to death. But Chen Jing played coy. This junior can tell you, but I have a request. Suppressing his urgency, the Venerable Xin Nai asked, What do you want? Chen Jing said, This junior wishes for a fragment of your heart's sin domain, Senior. Storyteller's narration. The Venerable Xin Nai was slightly surprised. He studied Chen Jing for a moment before sneering. So you covet your own master's beauty. You want to use this old man's domain to disturb her mind. Boy, you are truly sinister. Chen Jing showed no surprise. Senior's heart's sin domain is indeed peerless under heaven, able to clearly reflect the thoughts in a person's heart. However, this junior does not believe he is being excessive. Pluck the flower when it is there to pluck. Do not wait until it is gone to pluck an empty branch. This junior merely wishes to leave no regrets. Storyteller's narration. The Venerable Xin Nai's domain could sense the darkness in people's hearts. Thus, what Chen Jing was thinking had not escaped him. The Venerable Xin Nai chuckled, took out a jade slip, pressed it against the divine halo behind him, and infused a wisp of his dark domain into it. He warned, a word of caution. Your master is also a venerable. Her domain may counteract mine. It might not work. Chen Jing received the jade slip with both hands and said meaningfully, Do not worry. My master will not be able to resist. Her domain has already been broken. Storyteller's narration hum. The Venerable Xin Nai was startled. The Venerable Xin Nai asked, Wasn't she fine just a moment ago? Chen Jing stored the jade slip, his gaze turning cold as he looked toward Fang Chen. That is because my master lied to you. Storyteller's narration. What? A brilliant light erupted in the Venerable Xin Nai's eyes.